Salam ladies and gentlemen, this is Sumi. I welcome you all to yet another episode of What's Going On by Sumi, powered by Depilex. We have hair trends and makeup for you lined up in the first section, so let's go and see. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys like the new trends by Depilex, and now it's time for me to introduce you to my guest today, a guy who's been into this industry when it comes to event management for some time now. मैं अब साल नहीं गिनूंगी. It's been over a decade now. The very handsome Imtisal Zafar. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for a great introduction. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to have you, and I really am curious about the event management situation here in Pakistan, especially after the pandemic. I think the whole game has changed for you people. Tell me something about that.
During the pandemic, I think all over the world, one of the industries that was severely at the forefront of being affected was any kind of live entertainment. So that meant any artists who were performing on stage and the people who were putting up those things, they were first-hand affected because everything was closed for 3 years.
Yeah.
So ab thoda behtar is raha hai that now that we're kind of going back into things opening up again, so things are now coming back, which is great. It's suddenly summer. Summer slows down a little bit in Pakistan because of the heat, but things are picking up. PR is coming back. The way of doing things is a little different because during the pandemic, as is every few years, there's these new entrants into the market. Mushroom companies, I call them.
Of course.
They come for the season, get a few years in, and then they realize it's really tough. It's really tough to be an event manager. You have to really stick it out.
Yeah.
So वो फिर fizzle out. So अभी जो pandemic के era के कुछ आए में, we're seeing them and we're seeing what they're doing. So it's, I mean, it's a changed industry, but for the better, I would say. Yeah.
So Imti, with the current times, social media is so dominant over any other platform that we have. How does it help and kind of like does not work in the favor of event management?
So when we started out about 15 years ago, 2007, there was no social media back then.
Yeah.
So reliant mediums were television, print, radio. Somewhat. So we were a little late to the social media party. In fact, we started our Instagram a little late, I remember. But when we did, then suddenly you just have to kind of get with the times. So, and one of the things that I've learned is that in order to still stay relevant, you need to keep absorbing what's happening around you and keep current with the times. Because if you're not, there are going to be new companies going to trump you.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that we strongly stuck by and learned, and then another thing I learned about social media, कि जितनी चीज़ जल्दी viral होती है, उतनी जल्दी मरती भी है. So sometimes it creates a lot of hysteria. The whole के viral, something negative about you creates a lot of hysteria. But I promise you, let it pass for a day, it will all go away. But this you have to learn with experience. Right. Because the impulse is to react and respond, and that makes things worse.
Yeah.
So, so it's best to kind of let it play out and see how things play out.
Right, right. So when it comes to event management and PR, I believe, in my humble opinion, in Pakistan, the definition of PR is not really, known by a lot of people. PR is क्या major publications को तस्वीरें दे दें, कुछ दे दें, वो आपकी PR होगी. But what exactly is PR in your opinion?
It's such a small thing कि जी तस्वीरें इधर लगा दी आपने इस social media में तस्वीरें लगा दी इधर interview करा दिया. It's so small, and I feel like a lot of companies in Pakistan are doing मक्खी के ऊपर मक्खी मार रहे होते हैं from one client to another client.
Right.
You cannot have the same PR plan for every client.
Of course.
It has to be goal and objective focused. It has to be need focused.
Tailored
what is the target
according to
audience?
the profile.
And one of the things that I teach my students is that one of the first questions you should ask a client, and which very few people do, what are your goals and objectives? And then devise your plan accordingly. Unless you know the goals and objectives and what is your client trying to do, you are not going to be able to devise the optimal kind of plan for them. So a PR plan, in simple words, is something that basically entails getting mileage for a client, not spending money for every single mileage that you get them. Okay? So it is based on the network and आपके जो ताल्लुकात होते हैं in various mediums with which you've built over the years, right? A PR company is as good as its network. So basically it is getting mileage in a way which is not direct advertisement. There's a huge difference between advertisement and public relations. It is not direct advertisement. It's organic exposure for a client. And that's what PR is.
And it's like giving a personality to a brand, to a product, to a person. It could be
or
anything.
It could also be damage control. So
and
there are times that some issue happens and a PR company advises a client what's the best way to go forward. So it's a very important role that a PR company has, and not just कि जी 4 celebrity लाके खड़े करके तस्वीरें खिंचवा के अपनी तस्वीरें लगा दी.
Absolutely.
That is, I feel like the easiest and the most simplest approach to anything, and that doesn't work for everything. And now, as we are seeing with the onset of this whole concept of influencers and bloggers and all of content creators in Pakistan, the idea that celebrities matter that much, which are just not engaging with your brand, is less and less important. So I feel like it is more important now, as we are seeing, it's the age of digital content. If your content is not engaging, it is not capturing the attention of the end consumer, you're doing something wrong.
I see you bringing different DJs for this very reason, the raves and all. How did you get into this? Okay, let's just bring in some new people.
No, so it started from a very specific reason, which was my love for music. I've been into house and electronic music from a very young age, from school time. It used to be, you keep changing directions, you keep changing paths as you kind of go older.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You're experimenting.
In the sense that my music journey started from a very different place to now where it is. It's very different, but it was a journey that kind of led to where I am now. So it was the love of music that kind of led to bringing artists of that genre to Pakistan. It was never कि मैं कुछ कर लेता हूँ. It was always based on my passion for this particular art, which is music and the performance of it. So it was never कि भाई चलो जी कुछ नया करके दिखा. मतलब sure, there was always that, but it was more to do with the fact that this is what I enjoy. And
I think you only do the kind of work that you enjoy doing.
Absolutely,
you're like me that way. I don't care about the moolah and all of that. I'm like, am I enjoying it? If not, then
Wired still hasn't made any money. And it's not about the money. It's really not about the money. It's about what we've created over the years, right? And the international recognition that, like, the platform, Pakistan and I have received because of this when I travel, and people know that in the electronic music scene of the genre that we play at Wired, when I'm roaming around in those circles outside Pakistan, people know that Pakistan is now on the map for those kind of artists.
Really? Wow.
And it's really, I was in Brazil in 2020, right before the pandemic, and I was at some of these big festivals, right? And the first time I went to Brazil in 2016, I went to one of these and I promised myself that I will find out who the person behind this is and I will get to know him. Fast forward, 4 years later, went to his festival again, this person's festival who had done like this amazing job, met him, not only did he know who I am, he was like, oh my God, I love your parties. For someone like that to say 4 years ago, who was my idol, for him to recognize what I'm doing in a small part of the world in Pakistan was a big high. That was a personal high for me. So it was, and it was, I really, and when I'm traveling to places like where Pakistan is so unique, like a country like Brazil, I play up the whole Pakistan quotient. बाकी जगहों पे जहाँ पे आप taxi driver और 7-Eleven के consider होते हैं, वहाँ पे आपको play down करना पड़ता है. But places like this, where you're like so unique, because where is this country? You're like, haha, I'm from this country. So they're like, oh, acha. So you know, it's a big deal to be.
And you feel more patriotic. For some
odd reason.
Point, yes. When you're out of Pakistan, वो आपका अंदर का पाकिस्तानी बहुत जोर से बाहर आता है. It's always like that. So moving on, there's another thing Imtisal does. He's very much into art. He's a curator for that too, and you help a lot of new artists, I would say, in comparison to the old ones and the established ones. So that's what I meant. But how did you get into this?
Another thing that I was passionate about, art. Something that I've been collecting art since 11 years now.
10, 11, achha, I thought you said when I was 10 or 11, I was like, what?
10, 11 years I've been collecting art, but I have, so it kind of it started with just a, idea that let's have a platform on Facebook or a place where you could every day or every week people could share art that they own or people that they create, right? So that's where the idea of Pakistan Art Forum was born in 2014. And so the idea of Pakistan Art Forum is born just for the sake of the love of art. And then soon after that, I started collecting art from my friends because I would be going to thesis shows in various other places, so I would just kind of take pictures and collect art. And then from one thing led to the other, it led to me curating shows, then me opening my website last year at Sheru's place, and then this year we've launched our art gallery as well. So it's been a great journey as well, similar to music.
Similar to music, so doing all the things that he likes and loves. अब आर्ट की अगर जब बात करें, ये एक ऐसा मीडियम है जहाँ हेरा फेरी चलती है, just like any other one. You have artists who are, plagiarizing other stuff. How do you control this?
I cannot. I need to be informed in the sense that, to the best of my knowledge, not promote an artist who, has taken, who has plagiarized somebody else's work. But all over the art world, it's not so much direct plagiarism as inspiration. No art is really original anywhere, to be honest. It's always inspired by this or that. Sometimes there's more direct inspiration, other times it's less direct inspiration. But if you are sure that this art is completely picked up and copied from somewhere,
then aspect of it,
aspect of it, then you have to, then it's your responsibility not to promote that further.
Of course.
But as an artist, I cannot, as a curator, I cannot, if it's not on my platform, then I don't have any control over it. People then do whatever they do.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you make sure that you do not promote or help in any sort of way, be associated with that.
That's irresponsible. That's unethical.
Yeah, that's unethical. Moving on, Imti, I have something fun for you. So let's see how you're going to do in your rapid fire. Who do you text the most?
Emmer.
Acha. What is your favorite word in another language?
Gastosa. Portuguese, it means delicious.
Please, thank you. You just cleared it out to what is it? Summer or winter?
Summer.
If you were to write a book, what book would it be? As in, what would it be about? Art. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather travel to the past or to the future?
Future.
Outdoor event or indoor event?
Indoor.
Do you believe in second chances?
Yes, definitely.
Have you given anyone second chances?
Many.
Many?
Many.
Name, acha.
I should stop giving chances.
I think that's the best thing one can ever do for themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, for their peace of mind.
Learn that it's not going to change.
Yeah. What item is worth spending more money on?
Comfort.
Okay. If you could undergo a procedure to erase memories, would you?
No. Because they teach you something. Everything
one way or
teaches
the
you.
other.
Yeah, absolutely.
You rather learn from it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, things that are bad memories have also taught you something, so absolutely not.
How do you deal with a toxic situation?
2020, one thing that I became really certain about was, and I made a conscious effort, was to cut out as much toxicity in my life as possible and to stay away from people who don't build me up.
Right.
Think people who are negative, people who are toxic, gossipy, I avoid them like a plague. And this has become, and that has also meant, you know,
By
letting
gossipy
go.
means people who just manipulate.
Pot stirrers.
Yeah, yeah.
There's one
There
word
you
who I say, and people who are constantly stirring the pot and, you know, are craving drama, I stay away from them.
Cut them off.
It's something that, and that has also meant letting go of some friends, and that's fine.
That's fine. It's
I mean,
okay.
I've outgrown them, I feel.
So from letting go of friends, I'm going to ask you one more thing. Would you prefer having people who are backstabbing or who are brutally upfront?
Brutally upfront, yes, definitely.
Why do you appreciate that?
Because backstabbing people hurt you more, especially
Right.
friends.
Right.
Brutally honest people at least will tell you as is on the face, and I've had this conversation with some really close friends as well, some of my best friends, that you know, say it to me on my face, don't let me find out otherwise, because it just always comes around.
It does.
Comes around,
It does,
and you
one way
find
or
out
the other.
always. Yeah.
All right, you did pretty good, Imti.
Thank you.
Full on bell baja raha hai, har cheez extra bhi पूछो उसमें भी
हाँ.
bell baja रहा है.
और बताओ.
Bring it on. Moving on, I have a fun round for you. It's related to music. No, it's related to shows, TV shows. So I'm going to
गाने ना
test you on
दिलवाना
that.
बस.
नहीं.
As long as you
नहीं,
don't
नहीं,
make
नहीं.
me sing.
So even though we know that Imti is very fond of music and he's got great knowledge in music, but he's also got great knowledge in TV shows and, you know, he watches a lot of stuff. But we're going to go back in time, and there are a lot of famous shows that you watch. So I'm sure ki audio sun ke, probably, I'm not sure. Visually to aap ekdam se bata sakte ho. So I'm going to test you with the audio if you can remember it or not. Let me just turn up the volume. This is the first one. It's a talk show, and it's बहुत famous वो है.
Okay, let's talk about what era I was born in, so that we.
You were born in this era. She came out of the closet during her career.
Who is she?
She is a talk show host, and she hosts a great talk show.
Oprah? Oh, Ellen.
Ellen.
But this is not Ellen.
It
This
is.
sound. Acha, I've never heard the beginning part of her.
Acha, usually people do remember when
right.
you watch.
Because when
yeah.
you see YouTube, you just see the interview part of it, not the beginning of it. But okay, Ellen DeGeneres, yes.
Ellen DeGeneres, it is. Now we have another one.
Lion King. Okay.
I love this. Takes me to Africa, where I've never been in my life.
Looney Tunes. This is evergreen.
हो नहीं सकता कि ना.
You know, I've never seen Friends. I was gonna say that maybe you might play Friends for me. मुझे पता तो होगा, but I've never seen Friends.
But you did well. You did really well. You're pretty good.
Thank you.
We took you back to
This
your
was
childhood.
Fun. This was fun. Yes.
And but it was very nice of you to come in, take out time for us,
Thank you
share
for having me.
all your valued information regarding event management and PR, which is really very important because there is a lot of confusion when it comes to PR. मुझे खुद बहुत चिढ़ होती है जब लोग कहते हैं कि ये PR नहीं, ये PR नहीं होता है. Please Imtisal Zafar से आप राब्ता करें for next time. But any message for the youth right now watching you?
Be resilient. I mean, I feel like two things I very firmly believe in and I've followed is first find something that you're passionate about. And once you've found something that you're passionate about, keep at it. Keep at it. You will never excel at something that you're not passionate about.
Absolutely.
So until you find that one thing that you're crazy in love with, you will never excel. So find that first and then keep at it. You will succeed.
Inshallah, for sure.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you everyone for joining me yet another time here on What's Going On by Sumi, powered by Depilex. Catch you guys next week. This is Sumi saying, Bye before I lose my voice. Bye.